Hey guys, Colin here from CH Gadgets. So, if you're currently looking at the Mi 10 Lite 5G as your next smartphone purchase, here are 3 things that I think can help you with your decision. But check this out, before we get started, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, or even if you're a regular viewer, I want you to do me a favor and stick around until the end of this video, because I got a really huge favor I gotta ask. So one of the things that I like about the smartphone is the display. You get a 6.57-inch Full HD HDR10 Plus AMOLED display with a pixel density of 401. Now, it's not one of the brightest displays that I've ever seen, with only 430 nits, but it still managed to deliver a really good viewing experience for the price. Videos look clear, crisp, and vibrant, and definitely one of the better highlights of this phone. I also love how smooth the integrated animations are and how they just enhance the whole user and navigation experience. Oh, and the fingerprint sensor is reliable and fast, which is really good. Just looking at this phone, it doesn't look cheap at all. And combined together with this beautiful display, the whole package comes off as a way more premium device, which is pretty cool at this price point. Which also leads us into the next thing. All right, the next thing that I think is really cool about the smartphone is the quad camera setup. You get a 48 megapixel f1.8 main camera and an 8 megapixel ultra wide, which has a 120-degree field of view. You also get a 2 megapixel macro camera along with a 2 megapixel depth sensor. But what is so interesting about this camera setup is how good the photos from the main camera look at this price point. Photos come out looking sharp, crisp, with relatively good dynamic range and really good colors. You might lose some of that color and richness and detail in low light situations, but most of the time it managed to pull through and deliver some really good results. The ultra wide is good with a really wide field of view, but it's not going to deliver as much detail and dynamic range as the main camera. But at this price point, that is to be expected. However, I think you will still be pleased with the results that it can deliver. The macro camera is really cool and it can produce some really convincing results, but you would have to get really creative and try to see what you can capture with it. I'm not a big fan of a 2 megapixel macro camera. I wish they had put a 12 megapixel ultra wide with macro capabilities instead, but that doesn't take away from what this phone can do, but I just had to mention it. So the last thing that I want to talk about is actually 2 separate things that work so well together, I had to mention them as a unit, and that is the battery performance and the overall performance. This thing is rocking the Snapdragon 765G, which is a low-key budget beast, which doesn't stop at anything. And working in tandem with the battery, it's pretty efficient, delivering some really good performance and probably some of the best battery charging speeds that you can find at this price point. Okay, so obviously there's a lot more things about this phone that I could talk about than the ones that I just highlighted. But these 3 are the main anchor points that I think put all the phone features together in order for it to deliver a solid device. The Mi 10 Lite might not have all the bells and whistles, and you probably could find another smartphone in this price class with similar specs. But for a mid-range phone, I'm really liking what this thing has to offer for the price. All right, so I mean, at the time of doing this video, you already know that Xiaomi already came out with the Mi 11 Lite, which probably has some upgraded looks and maybe an upgraded display, but I'm assuming that the camera is probably almost the same because Xiaomi software is really good, and most of the time across devices they deliver a similar look and a similar feel. So if you're trying to save a few bucks, then this might be a really good choice that you should consider. But other than that, I'm gonna try to get my hands on the Mi 11 Lite so I could give you my opinion, what I think, and probably maybe do a little comparison between the 2. But if you want one of this for yourself, check the link in the description. Oh, before you go, I want you to do me a huge favor and click the like button on this video. It really helps the video, and also it really helps this channel grow. Thank you for watching. I'll be definitely talking to you in my next video. I appreciate you. It's your boy, and I'm out.